Turning now to that breaking news we're following out of St. Paul right now.
While you were sleeping, we learned new details about what led up to officers shooting a man in the Midway neighborhood. Michelle Beck is live at police headquarters right now. Michelle, what have you learned? What can you tell us?
Well, Jason, Alicia, according to police in the last 4 hours, the man who officers shot is in the hospital now fighting for his life. We learned that he too had a gun. That's how things started just before 7:45 last night. St. Paul PD says 911 callers reported gunshots at and around Snelling and University Avenue. Officers found him down the road and saw he was armed. Police say as they approached, the man put the gun to his head. They tried to get him to surrender, but the man allegedly refused and walked back down towards Snelling and University. At one point, police say he was even walking in that intersection, one of the busiest in the city.
And officers continued to negotiate with him, trying to get him to put down the gun. At this point, officers did use less lethal projectiles, but were unsuccessful in trying to get him to put the gun down. The male then pointed the gun at officers, and they fired their service weapon, striking him.
And state authorities at the BCA have now taken over the investigation. There are quite a number of questions left for them. I'll detail some of that when I see you next.
All right, Michelle Beck with the latest this morning. Thank you so much. We are tracking a developing investigation in Minneapolis. At 1:30 this afternoon, the man accused of shooting his neighbor last week will make his first appearance in court. Here's what we know.
I'm Jennifer Hoff. People who live in the Lindale neighborhood of Minneapolis say they're still feeling unsettled, despite police arresting the man who's accused of shooting another man next door. The victim says the violence has been escalating for months now, and he reported 19 incidents to police since last year. Police say the suspect, John Sawchak, is mentally ill, and officers have tried to arrest him for months, calling it a high-risk situation. All of it coming to a head over the weekend with an hours-long standoff. Sawchak is charged with multiple felonies now and is expected to make his first court appearance today.
In a matter of hours, the man charged in deadly shootings near the homeless encampments in South Minneapolis will be in court. Joshua Jones is charged with killing 2 people and attempting to murder 3 more back in September. Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty says investigators don't believe the shootings were random and says Jones knew at least some of the victims from previous drug deals. Today's hearing is expected to begin at 1:30. And that hearing is happening as Minneapolis police are looking for the suspect or suspects involved in 2 other deadly shootings at 2 encampments over the weekend. 3 people died, another was injured. Police say the 2 shootings are not related. So far, no one has been arrested.
Time now 6:05. At lunch today, local organizations will join a national roundtable on domestic violence. They'll share how the Twin Cities are responding to more than 4,000 DV cases this year. The roundtable will discuss the latest challenges and new resources for survivors, including those in Minneapolis. So right now, if you or someone you know needs help getting out of a dangerous domestic situation, help is available. Call the crisis line number right there on your screen. That number 1-866-223-1111. Trained professionals here in Minnesota are on standby 24/7.
This morning, the countdown is on. We are now just 7 days until the presidential election. 7 days away. Our Audrey Russo is live from the Hennepin County Early Voting Center, tracking an important number and deadline you need to know about this morning.
Alicia, that's right. If you have a mail-in ballot and you have not put it in a mailbox yet, today is your day. You have got to get that thing posted. Election officials say if you don't, you could run the risk of it not being counted in time. So say you don't get it in a mailbox today, your only other option is going to be to drop it off at an early polling site like the Elections and Voter Services building behind me here in Minneapolis. Now, this deadline is coming as the candidates are making their final pushes to the voters, their final arguments to voters ahead of Election Day. During the overnight hours, we actually got a copy of the outline of Vice President Kamala Harris's closing arguments speech. She's going to be making it in our nation's capital this evening. And flipping through, we could see a lot of themes about turning the page from the Trump era to a new chapter. Meanwhile, former President Trump is going to be making his remarks from Mar-a-Lago this evening. He's pushing back against that new chapter narrative by trying to link Vice President Harris to the Biden administration every chance he can.
I will also restore our borders. Over the past 4 years, Kamala Harris has orchestrated the most egregious betrayal that any leader in American history has ever inflicted.
We are all here because we are fighting for a democracy and for the right of people to be heard and seen. We're not about the enemy within.
Now, when I see you next in 30 minutes, we're going to be breaking down some of the early voting numbers here in Minneapolis and what that says about people's willingness to cast their ballot and get their voice heard. But for now, Jason and Alicia, I'll send things back to you.
Minnesota always has a great turnout. All right, Audrey Russo reporting live. Thank you. And make sure to join KARE 11 for live election night coverage from here in Minnesota and across the country. We'll be streaming all night starting at 5:30 p.m. on KARE 11 Plus with live reports, results, and expert analysis. You can download KARE 11 Plus for free on several platforms, including Amazon, Fire TV, Roku, and Apple TV.